There was absolutely conversations back and forth. I did not see him physically a lot over the off season. And that is because I did not want to be in a position like I am now. And I was like, let me just not even go there.
Well, I know that we're only a couple episodes into the season, loving it already, but how did you feel going into this summer? Were you excited, nervous, anxious?
I mean, it's like, who really signs up for these things? That's the first question. But then who signs up knowing what can happen? That was me this year. I don't know if it was like the soundest decision. It's a really crazy time, but it's so much fun. So I don't think I was at all more prepared. I think if anything, it's just like rolling with the punches.
Totally. I mean, can you tell me what really went down in the car with Lindsay?
I mean, what down in the car is what you see in my confessional.
Right.
That's what happened. We all know how she talks to people at times. That's how she spoke to me. There's just like no discrepancy there. She texted me right after asking me if we were good. I think for her to do that, that also implies that she knows that the conversation wasn't gravy. Mm-hmm. So that's what happened. What you see me say is what happened. And it is what it is now. I'm not trying to be friends with anyone that doesn't necessarily want a friendship with me, and that is okay. So I will support them from a distance.
Yeah. I mean, looking back on it, do you think it was wrong to reach out to Carl about smoking weed when he was sober? Or
I don't think that the conversation I had with Lindsay in the car was not about the weed. So okay. His narrative of his like coming at his sobriety, that's very new to me. Mm-hmm. That's all been kind of created with the show. So that was not the conversation that was had there. If anything, it was like, you know, a suggestion of overstepping boundaries in terms of like wanting her boyfriend or wanting him in a sexual manner. She did say at one point in the car, like, why would he come to your hotel room and smoke with you? And I was like, who said anything about a hotel room? Like, we're in California. We don't need to go in a hotel room. So that's just what it is.
Yeah. If tables were turned and she was texting your boyfriend about doing something like that, would you see that a problem if you were Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think that like, if you want to talk about boundaries, like there have been times where boundaries or Oliver has told me that he wasn't necessarily comfortable in some situations that Lindsay put him in, mm-hmm. but I was secure in my relationship then, and that didn't faze me really. So I think it's been blown way out of proportion in terms of like coming for the sobriety and then just like all like the very big buzzwords that are being thrown around. It wasn't like that.
Right. It's interesting because I spoke to Carl and Lindsay not too long ago, and they said that you are on good terms with them. But it sounds like from what you've said, maybe not the best of terms, since you want to kind of support them from a distance. Is that fair to say?
I don't have a relationship with Carl, so I wouldn't even speak about Carl. I think with Lindsay, we did have a great end to the summer. I think that we started to understand each other a little bit more. Recently, watching the press, seeing what she's saying, basically calling me a liar. No one that I'm on good terms with calls me a liar. So I think that's where things are getting a little bit rough now.
Yeah. Are you upset that you don't have a relationship with Carl anymore?
No,
you're good with that.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to ask someone to be friends with me that doesn't want to be friends with me. So I'm happily moved on, and that is a friendship, if you even want to call it that, because apparently it wasn't even that. So it seems like that relationship is in the past, and that's okay.
Yeah. Do you feel like Carl and Lindsay are right for each other?
I don't know. I'm not in their relationship, so I'm not going to speak to it.
Do you feel like they brought out different sides of each other, like knowing them, you know, separately and now together?
I only knew everybody for about a year, so I don't feel like I had as much skin in the game. Did I see some differences the way that this summer played out versus last? Yeah, absolutely. I think even what you see in the first few episodes of like the early bedtimes and the morning workouts, that was a very different dynamic. Yes, Carl still went early to bed last year, but it wasn't then encouraging everyone else to kind of do the same. So yeah, things are different. They're growing. They are in a much more serious relationship now. And I think that they're acting that out in front of all of us, and that is okay too.
Right. I think, you said on Watch What Happens Live that Carl texted you as well. What did he text you about?
anything. It could be like, I saw this cookie at this restaurant and your cookie should be there. Very platonic, never anything that was like questionable or sexual in any manner. But there was a, I don't know, loose friendship, if you want to call it that. So there was absolutely conversations back and forth. I did not see him physically a lot over the off season. And that is because I did not want to be in a position like I am now. And I was like, let me just not even go there so that it's not problematic, but here we are.
Right. You know, and obviously Kyle and Karl are, you know, have some tension this season so far. Was it right for Kyle to talk about how Karl was a bad employee on camera, that he was coked out at work? Did you find that problematic at all?
I mean, was it jarring? Yes. I also think Kyle has his own truth, and the narrative that's been dominating a lot of this is not what's happening from Kyle's perspective of Loverboy. So having had time to sit down with him, I understand his frustrations. Is it something I would have done? Probably not. But I also get that if Lindsay and Karl are controlling the narrative, why wouldn't Kyle feel the need to speak up for himself?
Yeah, you feel like Karl and Lindsay are controlling the narrative when it comes to Loverboy?
Trying to, yeah. Do you feel, I think you said that this friendship is long gone. Do you really believe that? Do you believe that the Karl and Kyle, if Lindsay's in the picture, they won't get back on track? I don't think it has to do with Lindsay. Like, I don't think that Karl and Kyle, I don't think Lindsay's dividing a wedge between them or putting something in between them to make them not friendly. I just think that there's too much that's happened, and just once you watch the end of the season, I think you'll see that it's just like almost too far gone. I don't know how they could recover from that. I'm not in the relationship. I do wish them the best, but I would not be able to move forward in that. Yeah. Were you shocked that there was such a clear divide in the house, you know, after this summer? No. Do you feel like it's probably going to stay like that? Do you feel like that there's... I genuinely hope it doesn't. Like, we have the most fun when we are united and we enjoy each other's company. Like, when we're doing our group activities, we do really have a lot of fun. So I hope that there's a way to get through whatever this hurdle is. But I think that a lot of people aren't coming to terms with their responsibility and in all of this and why we are here where we are now. And so until people start to do that and take accountability, I don't think that we can really move forward. Right. I mean, in your opinion, what really went wrong with Danielle and Lindsay? Because this is a friendship that has been going on for years and years. And for them to, you know, not be talking anymore, it had to be something to cut pretty deep, because we see her in this episode defending Karl, and she does Lindsay. That a lot. Yeah. I think it's layered. I think that Danielle was feeling like she wasn't really getting a lot of support that she would expect from her friend in Lindsay, because Lindsay did have a lot going on. She was in a new relationship. We all know how that goes. Like, when you're newly in love, like, you don't care about anything else in the world. That's what you're focused on. So I get all of that. Danielle wasn't feeling supported. And then Lindsay felt like Danielle was sharing, I think, too much of their struggles with the rest of us. And I think the real issue here is that Danielle actually spoke to us. It wasn't the fact that she was sharing it. If she shared it with Kyle, I don't think it would have been as much of an issue, but I think it was the fact that optic wise, like, these girls don't necessarily support Lindsay, and therefore how could you like share my information with the enemy, essentially? Right. Yeah. So it was kind of like and almost like a jealousy type of thing, you think? I mean, I'm not going to throw out the word jealous. I really don't understand why the demise happened the way it did. But I think that it's almost like she didn't follow like the lines of like allegiances. Like, she went and kind of crossed over, and that was the problem. Yeah. It doesn't seem like anybody's going to Karl and Lindsay's wedding after all this. I would be shocked if I was invited. I think pretty much everybody on the cast feels the same way. Yes. Were you there for Danielle? Because she just confirmed that she and Robert had split. Were you there for her as she was going through this breakup? Are we going to kind of see that play out this summer as well? You won't see it play out. It happened post filming, and she let us all know when they decide to split, and we did whatever we could to just like rally around her and make sure she had people and like social activities to do if she needed them. Like to the point where like I invited her to Thanksgiving in case she wanted to come. Breaking up during the holidays is probably the worst thing. I don't have that experience, but I can't imagine that was fun. So we just did our best to distract her.
Yeah. Are the two of you living it up single life?
Not the way that we should be, not yet.
I know that you confirmed recently that you and Oliver did break up after the summer as well, but you said that this was kind of messy. Is there any insight that you can give us into what really went wrong?
I mean, I think like the easiest way to describe it is that he presented himself in a way that he was not. So it seems like a little bit like I got conned in a way. I'll take it. Like it happens to the best of us, I guess. It wasn't ideal, especially given the fact that, you know, I just came out of a really not horrible, but very long relationship, and then going into something new and trying to open up to people and all of that, that definitely like crushed me. But he's not the one.
Yeah, right. You feel like he kind of used you to get on TV?
I think there was an aspect of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you heard from him since, or? He's blocked. Yeah. Is it hard for you to watch it back, knowing what you know now, I guess?
Well, you know, I think when breakups happen, it's very easy to want to like blame yourself or say like, why didn't I see the signs of X, Y, and Z? And I do feel that way in times where I'm like, wait, there were no red flags that were very apparent to me. And so watching it back, it almost confirms what I was already feeling. Like, I don't get it. But that just shows how good the con is.
Right. Seriously. You said before that Oliver said that Lindsay put him in uncomfortable situations. What did you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I know from last summer that there were multiple situations that Oliver felt were not super comfortable for him. I don't want to speak for him, but he did bring them to my attention. So it's very interesting now, a little bit like contradictory. There's an irony to it that we're talking about boundaries when it didn't seem like they were necessarily respected on my end. But again, water under the bridge, I'm not with Oliver.
Right. No, totally. Are you dating anybody now?
Not seriously, no.
No. Is it hard for you to want to trust somebody and want to get into a relationship after what happened?
It's hard naturally. Yeah. I think that even now, so especially having the element of being on TV and dating is weird. Yes. So it's very hard to decide like who you can trust or who's here for the right reasons type of thing. Not that I'm not Beyonce, like I'm not huge, but like there are people that will try to be with you for gains. And so I think deciphering that is the hardest part.
Definitely. You know, we see in the trailer and, you know, this past episode, Paige kind of puts it to rest. Like, I'm not here to get pressured or, you know, do anything that, you know, society tells me to do. But did you ever feel like Craig was putting any pressure on Paige to move, to get engaged, or anything like that?
Had the conversations. Obviously, you see him initiate a lot of the conversations. I think that Craig seems to be pretty ready to go in the next steps. But again, if she's not there or if she's just like, I'm going to do it on my time, I 100% respect that. I'm not a traditional girl. Mm-hmm. So I feel what she's saying and I'm like, do you? Yeah,
definitely. Well, were you a fan of all the new cast members this season? It seems like they're fitting in really nicely.
Oh yeah, like seamlessly. It was so easy. Mm-hmm. It's even coming back second weekend, you forget that these people are new to you because they were so comfortable. Like you see like Sam gets down in the middle of the night with Kyle. Like he had a buddy there. Gabby's always on tables dancing. Chris is Chrising. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think that they fit in seamlessly. I don't think that there was no one had like second questions or second guesses about why they were there. It made a lot of sense.
Definitely. Was there any tension or drama that surprised you this season that you didn't see coming besides like what we have already discussed?
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw Lindsay and Danielle not getting along. This isn't tension, but it's actually a great positive. I never thought that Sierra and Danielle would get to the point where they are now. And that's been really cool to watch. And I mean, I always joke that like I'm in the corner, like I told you so. But it's been really fun to see them like actually connecting.
Yeah. Do you feel like Danielle is kind of at peace with what happened with Lindsay now that we've are a few months removed from it? Is she still upset about it? And
I don't know entirely. I from my conversations with her, I want to say that she's not 100% over it. I think to lose a really good friend is very difficult. It's like a grieving process. And I think she's still grieving in a way. But I think she also is okay with where things are now.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Well, Maya, thank you so much. It was great catching up and excited for the rest of the season.
Yes, I can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.